So loved. Hey, loved ones. So today we're talking about emotional intelligence. Very, very, very important topic, right? So how I define it is emotional intelligence is the ability to love. I'm not talking about the quick crushes, the chemical reaction in our brain, the lust, I'm falling in love, falling in love. No, love never fails, right? It is staying in love no matter what. I'm talking about the kind of love that is about crucifixion and resurrection. The kind that makes you choose to keeping yourself in check and to love you and to love others, to respect you and to respect others. So I say everybody in the world has emotional intelligence. It's just a matter of who knows and who doesn't know. Do you agree with this? Let me know in the comment. So in the Bible it says you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. Right? So do you know what triggers you? What challenges you? So let me give you an example. A really simple example that I think that you would understand, since a lot of times we talk about relationships, right? So I'm going to tell you about women and men. So the men's programming, the societal norm, the cultural is different from the truth a lot of times, right? So whenever we were told about men, we were told that, a way to a man's heart is through food and, that thingy, right? So, but is that the truth or is that the reality? A lot of times, reality doesn't equal the truth. In the Bible, fornication is a sin against your body. But what we've been telling our men is, you got testosterone. You're a man. You have, an emotion, a feeling, or whatever. But it doesn't mean that you just got to do it whenever you think about it. We're not animals, right? So the way to taste a man's emotional intelligence, in my opinion, I'm always advocate for tasting. Right, I'm gonna tell you about the women too. So hold on. So it is through the you know what, and then through food, because that's their programming. Are they aware? Or are they still on their animal brain? Or are they conscious? So it doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter how revealing it is. The man's got to be able to control their emotion. So number one, characteristics of emotional intelligence is self-control, not playing victimhood. Right? I'm going to tell you a story. One time, I convinced a man to sleep with me because he refused. And I thought he didn't see me as attractive. My self-esteem was at the lowest. He was like my first boyfriend, okay? So what I'm saying is, if you see people do that, if they're not in Jesus, try to understand. So my self-worth was down low, so I thought he wasn't attracted to me. That's why he wanted to wait. But no, he honored me. He respected me. But at the end, it didn't work out, because I've seen him a couple of times massaging his best friend's feet. I got a lot of stories. So when I go, he was massaging her feet. You know what I mean? So I don't really get jealous, because I've never cheated. I don't see a point of controlling somebody. I didn't say anything. So I think he thought that means that was okay. My rule is don't do something that you don't want to happen to you. So I don't cheat because of him. I don't cheat because of me. So I think I was naive. Yeah, but anyway, it didn't work out. I think they got married. I don't know. It's a long time ago. There's nobody I regret. Peace to everybody. But anyway, yeah, this is my story. So if a guy is refusing, that means you hit the jackpot, ladies. Learn from me. Okay? It doesn't mean that you are not attractive. It means that he is emotionally, he's doing the almost impossible. Go cook, wash his feet, go do anything for that man. I'm telling you. Okay? So a man would reject that. Like, even if you're asking him to sleep with you, he would say no, because I respect my body. That is like a foreign thing when I'm telling you, right? Especially to men. But this is the truth. That is one quality of a leadership. It's not bossing around. Because if Eve was going to give you an apple, that means you rejected. No, God said no. That's a way of leadership. It's not the military. No, God told me this. God told me to move. God told me to to do this. No, it's leading by example. If God tells you something, He's going to tell me too. So we have to be in agreement with this. So the way of leadership and emotional intelligence between the culture and the truth, which is the Bible, is completely different. So that's why I say, when you test a man, you taste him with food, or, if he rejects it, then he's very, very strong. But we usually say, like, oh, a man who is not vulnerable, who doesn't cry, or who have a lot of sex with a lot of women, who has a lot of women, that is the strongest man. And we are disservicing them by applauding to that. You know what I mean? Because that leads to violence. When you're against your soul, that is the main reason for violence. Look at the world. So anyway, so that's how emotional intelligence is measured. The ability to be a leader. A leadership is the servitude kind of leadership, right? So going against, not against, but being able to lead your animal instinct or your brain. Not letting it lead you. Yeah, we make mistakes. But it can't be the normal thing. We don't have to see it as a normal thing, right? So that takes away our emotional intelligence. Last time we talked about the 7 deadly sins, right? We can do exercises against the 7 deadly sins. That is a workout for our soul, like we work out for our body, right? So yeah, men have testosterone, which is good for our sex drive, but you can utilize that testosterone to work out, to do some other things, useful things, instead of sleeping around or being tempted. That's how your strength is measured, because the sexual thing is the programming. When we go to women, what we have been told is go look for wealth, right? For the rich guy. So how you taste a woman, well, how you taste a man is give him food, see how he eats, right? Like you invest and then see how he eats if he's a taker. And then a woman, give her money, is she gonna multiply it? Or is she gonna consume and consume and consume? We both need emotional intelligence, right? So this is a simple example. So when we go to our community, that's how we are able to control our anger. Emotional intelligence doesn't mean not crying or not being vulnerable. No, we're human. Jesus cried, right? But our men are told not to cry. But if a person is not letting, that's called emotion as well, right? Crying. But anger is emotion. So if you don't cry, if you don't let it out, it turns to anger. That's why we have a lot of men in prison. So anger is a lack of emotional intelligence, not crying. So if we see a man cry, we make fun of them? Well, each other they make fun, men and men. I see usually women are more empathic when they see a man cry. What a lot of people think, if a lot of men actually know the truth about leadership, I don't think they would argue to be a leader. They would ask to be a leader. It's the most difficult thing to do, to be a leader. To be a leader is to be a student and a teacher. You don't compete. You serve others. You sacrifice a lot. You gotta have emotional intelligence because you have to lead by example. We're not aiming for perfection here. I'm not saying you gotta be perfect. Thus, Jesus is territory. But we're made in the image of God, right? In the image of Jesus, which means we have the power to control ourselves. I'm just talking about sex and money because those are the two powers that control us, right? So go watch my video about the 7 deadly sins to work out for your emotional intelligence. Fasting, prayer is really, really awesome tool that connects you to the higher high. That's gonna get you a 6-pack. And you will be at peace. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's not easy to get to know you. It's not easy to fast. It's not easy to pray every day. It's not easy to kill your flesh every day. It's not. It's not easy to go against the crowd. It's not at all. But the road is really narrow. Not a lot of people walk through it, right? So the wider one, it looks easy though, but the wider road is full of anxiety, hopelessness, war, chaos. But the more we control ourselves, the more peace we contribute to the world. So instead of expressing our angers, we express our feelings. This is how I feel. I don't like this. If you have to cry, you cry. You're human. Just know who you are. So prayer, meditation, and fasting. For example, like if you're fasting, you're not going to think about sex at all. Right? So when we're hungry, the only thing that we think about is food and only food. But the more you fast, the more you pray, that's exercise. Exercise. So when I'm telling you this, my wanting to pray, my wanting to fast, my wanting to be celibate for about 6 years now. I made one mistake in the middle, but I went back to my celibacy. I didn't be like, okay, I'm worthless. I'm not gonna. No, I'm human. I made a mistake. But now I'm more stronger. It's not that I don't have temptations. I do, but I am more stronger now. It's not that I can't find anybody to sleep with. Anybody can find somebody, right? It's just a choice. So love is a choice. When I used to follow Jesus because of fear, I didn't do any of this. I used to do it so people can see, in Amariña they say, "So me sabe Shango." That means you look like a human being in public, but you're different when you're by yourself. And I don't believe that this thing what they say, oh, people should hold you accountable. You gotta have somebody to hold you accountable. But no, you gotta hold yourself accountable. You gotta remember that Jesus, God, is watching you wherever. If you're dependent on people to hold you accountable, then you're gonna be doing whatever you want by yourself and then in front of people because they're gonna hold you accountable. And you're gonna be a lot nicer. And that is hell, let me tell you. But to practice this, to be honest with you, to love, that's part of self-love. So like I said in the beginning, we all have emotional intelligence. It's a matter of knowing it and not knowing it. It's not an easy road, but we can do it. We can be conscious. We can be intelligent leaders. We can both follow and lead. We don't have to compete. It's not about leaving a legacy. If you're serving people, then legacy is for sure. It's not about bragging right. It's about leading by example, being humble but strong. Knowing that no one is above us, no one is below us. And a true leader, a true emotional intelligent, listens as much as they talk, just like Jesus did. They have the feminine and masculine energies balanced. They can both nurture, and they're both nurture and doers. They're balanced. Feminine and masculine energy is not about being a woman. Men can nurture too. Look at Jesus. And lastly, I'm going to emphasize on this point. Men, don't hide your feelings. If you have to cry, cry. If you have to let it out, let it out. It's about letting go of your ego and find the real freedom. The freedom to love without limits, including and first yourself. Remember, and the Bible says love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy. And it's not about showing off, it's about understanding, believing, hoping, and sticking together through thin and thick. All of us in the world. Doesn't matter what your color is, it doesn't matter what your ethnicity, together. Okay? And I think it's about it. If you have any questions, please comment. I love you guys. Stay intelligent.